Morning. So in the first reading, do not neglect hospitality, for through it some have unknowingly entertained angels. As Catholics, we're not always known for hospitality. I've shared with you before my experience as a seminarian at St. Catherine's, going to morning mass one day, and I sat in the back row seat on the aisle. I didn't know that seat belonged to the sacristan there, Teresa, who was a battle axe of a woman. Cheryl, is she still alive? Okay, may she rest in peace. I don't mean to besmirch her, but man, she was tough. Even Father John was afraid of her, I think. Anyway, I'll never forget sitting there, and she comes over and you're in my seat. There's something about kind of coming into Mass, and as Catholics, we don't really want the hospitality. Maybe we say we do, but I don't think we really do. We come in and we want to sit down and just kind of be like left alone. If someone talks to us, it's a little awkward. But there's something to be said about kind of right hospitality, proper hospitality, and that we do welcome others with the love of Christ, and that we do allow others to experience that love. But sometimes I think we might take it too far. We might say, okay, well, I'm being hospitable, and so I'm going to accommodate the needs of others. I'm going to accommodate the desires of others. I'm going to accommodate the preferences of others. But we can't always do that. We can't be so hospitable that we just allow people to do whatever they want. The church has teachings. The church has rules. The church has things that we must do. So we hear in the gospel this well-known account of Herod killing John the Baptist because Herod is allowing his brother's sister's daughter to kind of command him to do something gravely immoral, to kill a man who he knows to be innocent. And it goes contrary, really, to everything. Here we have Herod, who has just ignored the fact that this is his brother's wife that he lives with, and that he treats as his own wife. People often, they say, why is the Catholic Church so obsessed with marriage and divorce and remarriage, and why can't we just let people be happy? Well, this has been an issue forever, right? This is what John the Baptist spoke out against. He said, hey, yeah, that's not your wife; it's your brother's wife. And Herod, ignored him. And then Herod really kind of abdicated his own masculinity by allowing Herodias to be the one who really wore the pants and kind of, no, you're going to kill John the Baptist. So when we allow a little bit of lenience, oftentimes it can be abused, right? When we see certain things in the church, certain allowances, especially over the last 60 years, oftentimes they come from the church kind of saying like, okay, yeah, we'll allow it kind of under duress, but it's really not the best thing. You hear us talk a lot about cremation and how it's important that we bury the dead and that we treat the bodies of the deceased with dignity. That's one of those things where the church was like, okay, we'll allow it, but it's really not the norm. In fact, it's going to be appendix number 2 at the very back of the funeral book, and it says, hey, look, this isn't really something that we want you to do, but if you must, here are some criteria to follow. Don't do it for pagan reasons. Bury the ashes. And people get mad all the time. Like, why are you talking about that? Why are you saying we shouldn't do that? The church allows it. Kind of. Yeah, the church says it's permissible, but it's not ideal. And so then people kind of get into the habit of, okay, well, now we're going to take the ashes and we're going to scatter them, in the Gulf of whatever the Gulf is called right now, because Dad liked to go fishing there. And it's just the abuse kind of coming out of the church trying to accommodate, right? So that hospitality, we try to accommodate people, but at times it can be abused. And so we have to be conscious of that, and we have to say, how can we maintain the integrity, the integrity of the teachings of the church? How can we maintain the morals of the church, right? Because that's the next thing St. Paul says. He said, let marriage be honored among all, and the marriage bed be kept undefiled. for God will judge the immoral and adulterers. Well, there you go. There's a perfect example with John the Baptist and Herod there. So to maintain that integrity of truth, to maintain that integrity of actual, real, authentic love, which sometimes is saying, hey, don't do that, that's going to hurt you. And not just kind of thinking, well, let's just be hospitable to anything and everything, even at the cost of the gospel. So today, let us continue to reflect on the fact that God calls us to love with His truth, which that truth calls us to alter our lives. That truth calls us to transform ourselves. It calls us to call others and help others to transform their lives as well. And let us, through the intercession of St. John the Baptist, who very boldly proclaimed the truth, let us ask that we may always be able to, in charity, proclaim the truth.